Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joe Theodore, and thank you so very much for stopping by today to check out this video. So guys, I want to talk a little bit about Jupiter's ingress into Gemini. This is a massive transit, and I will definitely talk more on this transit in detail in many different ways. But today I'm feeling inspired to mention it and to discuss it. Like many things on this channel, I kind of just, I intuitively get inspired to discuss something I feel is important to begin discussing, even if it's far away from now. Jupiter's ingress will be at the end of this month. But someone like myself, I know a lot of astrologers out there, have their specific ways of going about transits and their own significations behind it. And some of those significations are, pretty cliche and kind of, sort of what everybody is saying. But for me, I need to meditate with the planets. Like I need to meditate with the transits and observe them, even if they're far away, and sort of just see what aspects are happening, and then look at the world, and then look at like the psyches of my clients and even the psyche of myself, and just to see what's going on. And then I can paint more of a picture continuously leading up to the transit or while the transit's occurring for all that time. Like Jupiter in Taurus, I had a feeling I knew it was going to be about, in my own life and in the collective world. But throughout its entire transit, it shifts and changes. It's always teaching us something new, especially a planet like Jupiter. So today I want to talk a little bit about just some initial intuitive feelings I'm having about Jupiter's ingress into Gemini, and how a lot of the experience we've had in Taurus will carry over, like every transit in my opinion. I feel when we have massive transits, like a slow-moving planet, sort of like Jupiter, it collects data and experience in our life, and then we carry it over into the next area of our life. And that's just part of the evolution of astrology, as it's imprinted on our human experience. So in Taurus, Jupiter was expanding and teaching us a lot about self-worth, the physical world, the environment, things that are all Taurian in nature. And then depending on where Taurus falls in your life, in your birth chart, that's really where it was shining for you. Now, Jupiter is a benefic, meaning it's a good planet, a planet of abundance, luck, expansion, a guru, the master teacher. But sometimes what we learn from that stuff is also challenging. And then depending if we've had some challenging aspects with Jupiter, that tells, whether something will be challenging or not. But Jupiter and Gemini, after what we've been dealing with, especially in the last couple of months, and after that very, very famous Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which that is something we'll be carrying with us for some time. Because Jupiter and Uranus changed everything, whether we know it or not yet. Especially with that insane eclipse that I know many of us are still probably overcoming. But so much is changing, guys. And I think when Uranus gets into Gemini, that's when we're really going to start to see some wild things in the world. And I don't ever want to make anyone nervous, but we have to be aware of the realities of life. We have to prepare ourselves the best we can. And this is not some sort of apocalyptic message at all, not even suggesting that. All I'm saying is that Uranus has a history of major social shifts happening on the planet, major communication shifts happening on the planet, and even war, And it's a shame that people in this world don't know these patterns of astrology, because maybe we could avoid cataclysmic war and, communication breakdowns, but also breakthroughs, But Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus was massive, because leading up to some of our past histories, involving these massive conjunctions in prior times, like 80 something years ago, because Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus will conjunct every 80 something years. But as they both head into Gemini, it's almost like there's this prelude to uprise and revolution and war and, just communication uprise and breakthroughs and breakdowns. Like a good example is, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch, which is where he was hired to create a machine, essentially the first computer, to break the Nazi Germany Enigma code so they can start intercepting their messages. That all transpired during a Jupiter Uranus conjunction, I believe in Taurus or Gemini or something like that, right in the areas that we're in now, which we're all about to experience. And that had to do with communication. That had to do with expansion of, oh my God, this kind of computer can exist. Like, this is going to change everything. Even the atom bomb, all this scientific, wild Uranian and Platonic kind of energy was surfacing. And Jupiter was transiting right in the same areas it is now as well. So this is a profound time to be alive. And in our own lives, I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just saying on a collective stage, these massive transits and these massive planets will influence the world in a way that will change the world. And I think all the spiritual people out there, all of the astrologers out there that actually know what they're talking about, they are not afraid to speak the truth. Now, yes, there's conspiracy thinking and a lot of spiritual, new age stuff right now, which is ridiculous. I think we need to really understand, there's conspiracy theories in the world, yes, but not to go off the rails and fall down rabbit holes, where it can destroy your reality. And a lot of the astrology, to be honest, has been pointing, like Neptune in Pisces has completely made people go insane, but it's also provided a lot of awesome things. But, we have to be real with the fact that astrology is an insane divination tool, and it can really help us understand the horrors and the beauty of the life and in your own life. But Jupiter and Gemini, Uranus, these conjunctions, all this stuff, I'm sure they've been bringing you good things too, very good things. And maybe after everything we've been through, there's been a lot of breakthroughs. But there's also things we must really consider, that are also, kind of on the opposite end of that. Now, before I continue, I would just like to say this video is sponsored by the like button, the comment section, and the subscribe button. They're free, giving them away. And consider doing all three of those if you're new to the channel. Or if you're not new to the channel, just, consider liking and commenting, because that really will help the growth of the channel here. But Jupiter and Gemini, guys, that's happening at the end of the month, May 27th. I had the chart up on the screen most of the time for this video right now. And I think it's going to bring a lot of expansion and a lot of, just wide, I'm just seeing a vision of a wide net just being thrown about, and just there's going to be so much for us to collect in a data sense. I feel wherever Gemini is in your birth chart, there will be new horizons that become extremely well, not extremely well, will be very abundant for you to, take advantage of. So I think Jupiter in Gemini will expand the way we communicate with each other. I think we will learn more about communication, generally speaking. But on a collective level, that can go both ways, because when we're talking about expanding communication, we're also dealing with, the way people talk to each other. So if the way people talk to each other are not good, this is going to expand, the conflict of communication. And with this Jupiter Uranus stuff too, guys, I mean, we've been dealing with a lot of this protest stuff and the uprise and the conflicts in, the world, which are all stemmed from religious ideology and just nations and their political, domination, deciding what should be what for who. And honestly, don't get me started on fundamentalism, because I think all war and conflict has always stemmed from religion, to be honest. If you really track it back, it's holy wars that have dominated the world and, destroyed it. Everything is sort of just a trickle-down effect from, these insane fundamental belief systems. And that's also super, super on point for Jupiter, religion, spirituality, philosophy. And then Saturn, of course, is the fundamentalist, the structures, the rules. But Jupiter and Gemini, guys, it's going to do a lot of wonderful things for us. Because again, on an individual level, because I know a lot of us aren't involved in geopolitics, and we're not involved in some of the shit on the world stage that's insane. So on an individual level, a lot of us who are using the tools of astrology to co-create in a beautiful way, or we're trying to, and we're, trying to self-develop ourselves in a better way, or, heal things. These transits we can use them for good. Like, that's the beauty of magic, and co-creation, intentional synchronicity. We can use the planets that are already within us, as within, so without. And we can consciously use the energies available to our benefit. So Jupiter in Gemini, we can understand, we can have the power of wisdom and expansion and, to put that into that area of our life, wherever Gemini is in your chart, and just realize that we have the ability now to expand our communication there, to expand the way we communicate, to maybe get a little bit more global in some way, I mean, for some reason, an example coming to me now is if someone was ever contemplating, starting a YouTube channel or doing something online, where the online space is all about global reach. Maybe whatever part of your life Gemini is, this can be a good way to expand yourself in a more global way, to expand the way you communicate, and maybe to bring good fortune in things that are intertwined with the way you come to the world, because we come to the world and we have to communicate with it regardless, unless you want to be isolated in the mountains your whole life. So Jupiter in Gemini is going to provide a lot of us with a lot of insight in the way we discuss things. And I think what we just came from with Uranus will influence that 100%. And I think this Taurus new moon that's coming, at the time of shooting this video, the Taurus new moon hasn't happened yet, but that's also going to be a very important trigger point for rebirth, especially in stuff that we want to grow. And with Mars in Aries, this is the potent initiative phase of this particular part of the year, because Mars is all alone in Aries. It's not being influenced by any other aspects from any other planets and signs. It's kind of just chilling by itself with Chiron, which is a whole other story. But Mars is a wild card and just kind of floating around in its domicile home turf. And, we can use that energy for the good or the bad, of course. But all of that's going to influence how Jupiter transits into Gemini. And then Jupiter will immediately trine Pluto, which will also be a powerful moment of triggering. And I think that we'll have a moment to really transform something that's also linked to wherever Aquarius is in your birth chart. And I think those energies together are going to be very potent, because the air element of both of those signs are going to allow, I just a lot of, I just feel like we might all have a very telepathic and psychic explosion as Jupiter enters Gemini. And maybe that's really going to be like a final revelation point for everything we might have been through in April. I'm just sort of intuitively feeling that once Jupiter trines Pluto, like, I don't know, I just think we'll all have maybe a major psychic moment, and something will, I don't know, depending on what's going on in your life, something's just going to expand itself. And I don't know, maybe you'll understand something, more profound than you ever have before. So yeah, guys, that's really just some initial thoughts on Jupiter and Gemini. I will continue to make videos on this. I will also be launching a Patreon very soon, which I will be posting like all signs horoscope videos on there. Where here I decided I'm just gonna come on here and make videos where I discuss and show charts. Hopefully soon I'll be doing more chart work on the screen. But, doing the all signs, like specific horoscopes, I would like people to come support the Patreon for that. And I, will go in depth with all that stuff. But I will definitely still talk about, stuff like this here. And I will be making more videos on the Jupiter Gemini ingress throughout its, moments of getting into Gemini. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, comment if you stay to the end. And if you're new, and just super appreciate you all. And I'm sending you so much love today. Bye now.